Salim Malik back in place of the injured Yusuf Yohana, and Shahid Afridi, who scored the quickest ever century in one-day internationals, recalled at the expense of Wajahatullah Wasti. While the Kiwis resisted the temptation to make changes after being badly beaten by the West Indies, the same 11 hoping to recapture the form of that sparkling victory against the Australians. Well, New Zealand won the toss and they put Pakistan in, and we're going to join the action with the second ball of the innings. No runs on the board as yet, and our commentary team is Imran Khan, Jeremy Coney, Simon Mann and first Simon Hughes.
It's Nash to Anwar and pulled away magnificently. So that's the first boundary from the second ball of the over, whipped away with consummate ease by Syed Anwar. Another short ball, this time it'll just be a single. Dion Nash bowling to Afridi. And again too short, and that's smashed high into the pavilion. So a magnificent start for Pakistan, 6 from Afridi's first delivery. Well, he took a bit of a risk because it was only just over the fielder's head at long on, but a tremendous shot from Afridi. So it's Jeff Allett to begin the second over to Syed Anwar.
Quick Harris.
And too short from the other New Zealand bowler as well, so competently put away there by Syed Anwar. Well, another fantastic shot, so Afridi's really setting off as if he's got a train to catch. That's another boundary. Takes him to 10. Too short again from Jeff Allett, so both the New Zealand bowlers struggling a little bit with their length, and Syed Anwar really capitalising on it. Just short of Nathan Astle. The New Zealanders, I'm afraid, they have problems. And there are more of them. Syed Anwar really has been the more fluent of the two Pakistani batsmen so far. On a smaller ground, that would have been a comfortable boundary. Oh, that's a huge hit. Maybe he hasn't quite timed it though. It's still well enough for 4, so Afridi really fastening onto anything wide and giving it a good old clout. This has brought a field arrangement from Fleming, unfortunately this early. Really needs 2 slips for a wicket. That's out. So the angle has done Afridi after an explosive start. New Zealand get a breakthrough they desperately wanted. The explosive batting of Afridi comes to an end, and relief for New Zealand. Well, a little bit more width here, encouraging the drive, looking to repeat the stroke, and regulation catch going across the left armour, the angle, 17 off 22, Pakistan 40 for 1. So the new batsman Abdul Razak, the all-rounder, in at 3. It was almost a wide if Afridi hadn't hit it. Still a run rate of over 6 and over though for Pakistan, and this is the man Syed Anwar facing who's produced most of that, and there are more runs for him. Sliced away for 4, just where second slip had been removed from. Nash to Razak. Well bowled. Kind of curious cricket at the moment. It's either a play and miss or a boundary almost. It's quite exciting. Allett to Syed Anwar. And that's through him. And a much needed breakthrough for New Zealand. Hassan Nawaz had been tied down, and he's gone.
Well, here I think Saeed was perhaps looking for the one that was going away, and really completely walked across the stumps, missed the ball. Very happy Alert, and very unhappy Saeed Anwar, because he was just going and it seemed as if he would get a big score. Desperately needed by him and for Pakistan.
Ijaz Ahmed, the new batsman, hasn't played in all of Pakistan's matches. He was injured for the second game. And he's away. Not very good fielding by McMillan at back of square leg. Touch and go, whether it'll be a boundary. Good bit of fielding.
Well run by Pakistan, they've run 4 runs. And Ijaz off the mark.
Well, he is struggling, isn't he? 56 for 2 off 12. And Razak is yet to score. 24 deliveries he's faced so far. And at last he's off the mark. It's taken him 25 balls. He'll be feeling a little happier now.
Great shot by Ijaz, off the back foot. You see, this is where he gets dangerous. The more he stays on the crease, the more he's going to get runs, and the more strokes he'll play.
Larson to Ijaz. Tight single, but they get there. The throw from McMillan misses the stumps. Might have been interesting if he'd hit.
Yes, if that would have been out if that had hit.
And a couple more runs here to Razak. More relief for him.
Razak scored only 6 from 44 deliveries. And at last he's managed to open his arms and swing away a boundary. Abdul Razak's first boundary, and he's been there nearly an hour. Just out of his reach.
So just wide of McMillan. Oh, he might have got a nipper on it.
Chris Cairns coming on to bowl. That's neatly flicked away, so Cairns just firing one a little bit down the leg side, trying to follow Abdul Razak as he was giving himself a bit of room, but getting it just a couple of inches wrong. Cairns to Abdul Razak. And he picks that up very well. He was shaping to do that in the last over from Cairns, and he's timed it extremely well, so Razak gets his third boundary. Pakistan's 100 up in the 23rd over.
Well taken, Perori. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Look at that. And notice how it moves at the end. See that swing away?
And by the reactions of the New Zealand fielders, particularly Dion Nash, looks like they felt they might have got Razak out there.
Good back flick from Nash. And that was only about 2 yards out. More runs for Ijaz, at least 2. Jeff Allett sprawling away down at wide third man, and they're able to come back to 3. Harris
close to Razak. And that's a good stroke. Away to the boundary for 4. Razak now getting into his stride. Short single, could be run out here, and that's out.
It had to happen. Pakistan were looking to force the pace, taking risks, and Razak run out comprehensively.
Nathan Astle, the fielder. Poor piece of running, really.
Well, that really was not on, that run, and there were a few risks. Razak was lucky before, and here we see he had absolutely no chance to even get close.
You don't need the third umpire for that. Razak's gone for 33. It's taken a long time. 127 for 3.
Inzimam ul Haq coming into bat. Now he is really what Pakistan are looking for to force the pace. One of the finest hitters of the ball. Very aggressive player.
The field's up for Inzimam's first ball. He's facing Larson. And he's away straight away. Inzimam gets this away, behind point. The chase for Roger Twos, and he pulls it back just before the boundary. And a comfortable 3. Well, there's a peel. And not out, says umpire Katie Francis.
And neither a white ball, because it had gone down the leg side. Normally such deliveries are given wides. Well, let's see if he's got a touch there. I couldn't tell.
Well, that's a beautifully struck shot by Inzimam. Man on the cover boundary, able to cut that off. More typical sort of Inzimam ul Haq stroke, and the boundary for Pakistan.
Well, Inzimam strong of both feet, front and back foot,
and that brings up the Pakistan 150. Oh, that's very delicate from Ijaz. That's the maximum productivity with a minimum of effort. Astle to Ijaz, who's making a very good fist of batting on this mottled pitch. Comes back for 2 to complete a very cleverly compiled half-century.
It's a very good 50 by Ijaz because the conditions are alien to Pakistanis. Very slow wicket, ball not coming on, and Ijaz has really worked and grafted this 50.
Ijaz has come a long way and comprehensively removed from the batting crease by a magnificent throw. Chris Harris it was, the demon at backward cover.
Well, that's the breakthrough New Zealand needed. A bit of hesitation, and Inzimam plays it there, looks to go but stops, and Ijaz too far down, not able to get back to his crease and really gave up. Very good direct throw which has given New Zealand a vital breakthrough.
New batsman Salim Malik. I suppose you could say something about Inzimam is not only has he been run out a lot himself, but he's also seen thousands of them. Astle to Salim Malik. That would have been a catch to the keeper if he'd stood back, but standing up to the stumps, it was a handy boundary.
Well, lucky for Salim Malik. Here we see edging the ball, trying actually to closing the face of the bat to it, and lucky that the keeper was not standing back.
Oh, and again going past the outside edge. So all these Pakistanis at the moment having a lot of trouble with the New Zealand medium pacers, who seem to have found a sort of strip of mottled soil, I was going to say grass, but there's not much grass on it, that they quite like. Oh, that was pretty lucky from Salim, but luckily for New Zealand, the third man was quite fine. All sorts are happening, and Inzimam again struggling to make his ground, but not in the most expected fashion. And in fact, it seems like he's trodden all over somebody. It looks like it's the wicket keeper. No, in fact, it's Dion Nash at extra cover. He's trodden all over him on the way through, done him quite an injury. Comprehensively beaten by that Yorker from Jeff Allett, so Salim doesn't really contribute much to the Pakistan cause, and New Zealand back in the hunt for wickets.
Well, this is length, isn't it? It's purely about a Yorker, and Salim probably locking in on options, trying to get to run it down to third man again and open the face. He's beaten just sheerly on length there. Good delivery, Allett, this time of the innings.
And this is Moin Khan. And that's a pretty good shot. Didn't look as if he quite timed it, but the fielder didn't even bother to move initially. So Moin opens his account with a lofted off drive. That's quite neatly played by Moin Khan. Roger Twos did very well there. A hefty dive, saved 2 runs for his side. Oh, and Inzimam's come a long way, and the throw went to the wrong end. Otherwise, he would have been on his way. Completely slipped over, and that was almost run out number 30 for Inzimam ul Haq.
Well, Gavin Larson here, an opportunity. Lost, I'm afraid.
Stroke that was, so he didn't get the Yorker length quite right that time, and it was smashed away by Moin Khan. That really is probably the shot of the morning. That single from Moin brings up the Pakistan 200, 41.4 overs gone, so the foundations are set for a major assault here in the last 9 overs or so.
Harris to Inzimam. Slower delivery, but he still gets it away. Very fine. And that's going to be 4 more to Inzimam. Inzimam gets that one away. 4 more. Bad ball from Harris, he knows it. And there's no one better at putting those sort of deliveries away than Inzimam.
Well, this isn't easy. It's slightly short because Inzimam is a big man. He pressures the bowlers on the front foot. See, he comes onto the front foot, but he's rocked back. Boy. Quite quick on his feet there in the crease, Inzimam.
And he goes for 1, he looks for 2, he's coming back for it. And that was very tight. And that's his 6,000th run in one-day international cricket. Nawaz still to Moeen. Big stroke, 4, over the head of mid-off, and Moeen's into his stride.
Great shot by Moeen. Time and again he's got Pakistan out of trouble and really can accelerate. That was a great, very powerfully hit shot. Slightly with a cross bat, but hit it over mid-off and very firmly struck.
More runs. It's going to be a stretch for 2s. Excellent fielding. And he cuts off the boundary.
Very delicately, very late cut by Moeen. Risky player.
Moeen goes for the big one. McMillan's under it. And that's a comfortable catch.
Well, Moeen had to go for it. Barely 6 overs left. Here we see trying to hit. That's a very long boundary there and not much chance of clearing it. Good judged catch by McMillan. Nice again. Nice 19 and 17 deliveries by Moeen.
So here he is, Pakistan's captain. He's been in good form with bat and ball. And that's just catching practice for McMillan. And Wasim Akram's underway. They go for 1. Alex onto it. Oh, Inzimam came there just as well. He didn't go. Cairns wants it and he gets it. Well, it took Katie Francis an age to give that out. Wasim Akram, well, he doesn't look happy, does he? But he's out. Out for 1, and New Zealand have made a vital breakthrough.
Well, here it's a slow ball and let's see what happens. Wasim goes across, it hits him. Now where did that pitch on line? I'm not sure. That was hitting, but did it pitch within the stumps?
Well, I think Wasim Akram can consider himself a little bit unlucky there. So Cairns the new batsman, Azam Mahmood. And he goes through him straight away. Alat to Mahmood. And he gets this away fine, that'll be 4.
Nicely flicked by Azam Mahmood. Very useful batsman to be coming in at number 9.
Inzimam on 47 faces Cairns. And there's his 50.
That's 4 runs. Very firmly hit by Inzimam to reach his 50. Cairns drifting on the leg side, trying to bowl a Yorker. That's another 2, could be 3, could be 4. No, he's got it off. A comfortable 3.
Mahmood on strike. Hits that well. And they come back for 2. Inzimam stopped that getting to the bowler then. Just knocked it down like a goalkeeper. Down the ground, and that's 4. 1 bounce. Bad ball from Jeff Alat. Tremendous excitement. Alat to Mahmood again. And that's out. Straight to Roger Twos at mid-wicket. Pakistan's 8th wicket goes at 255 as Mahmood the man to go.
He was on the move when he hit the ball, he had an advantage.
Azhar Mahmood getting out there. Very useful innings at this stage of the game. Very firmly hit shot, but straight to the fielder.
Last over, Cairns to Inzimam.
There's that replay.
He goes for the big stroke, and he makes it over extra cover. Fine shot from Inzimam, but there was width. And Pakistan are setting a challenging total here. Fantastic shot from Inzimam. Shades of Viv Richards.
Well, Inzimam spotted the slower ball there and got himself into position very quickly.
Last ball of the innings, and 4 more to Inzimam. Tremendous hitting. Thrilling the Pakistani supporters.
That was hit with even greater power than the previous shot over extra cover.
Ferocious hitting from Inzimam, and Pakistan have set a really challenging total here. 269 for 8 from their 50 overs.
Well, what a start from the openers and what a finish. It's never dull when Inzimam's in, the Mr. Muddle of Pakistan cricket. Outstanding form with the bat, but not with his running between the wickets. But as Simon said there, a useful target to bowl at. For Allott, 4 wickets, but pretty expensive too. He's currently, though, the top wicket taker in the whole World Cup. Dion Nash, the most economical of the Kiwi attack.
Good delivery, and he's gone. Shoaib makes the breakthrough, and another failure for Nathan Astle. Bad start from New Zealand, and Shoaib has been right on target in his first over.
Well, poor old Nathan Astle, his run of poor form, not a big mistake, is it? He's just pushing towards the line of the ball. I've got a feeling it may just have left the right-hander a shade, and he's just nibbled it through to Mon Khan. Craig McMillan now is going to have to come out and somehow resurrect this New Zealand innings that really they needed to get a good start. When you're chasing totals at 260 odd, you need to get away, not lose too many wickets.
And he's away, first ball. Goes for 1, and he comes back quickly for 2. Saqlain Mushtaq doing the fielding down at third man. So a good first over from Shoaib. He makes the breakthrough, 4 for 1 after 2. Matthew Horn to take strike from Shoaib for the first time. A good start from Shoaib to Horn.
There's not much you can do with these. See it move from the pitch, and Horn, let's give him the benefit. Just drop the wrists.
Oh, and he's so nearly played on.
Once again, if you don't get your back lift up early enough and you're looking to attack suddenly and you supply power with the bottom hand, that's what results. One batsman in the New Zealand order who will play strokes is McMillan.
And there he goes. Over the top. Didn't quite go where he intended, but he's going to pick up for the first boundary of the New Zealand innings. Shoaib to Horn. And that's out. Moin Khan with the catch. And another disappointment for Matthew Horn.
Well, there it again has just left the right-hander, and Horn, who's been so circumspect about the position of his off-stump, has just nibbled at this again, and Mon Khan again into action. Horn out for 1 of 20 deliveries, New Zealand 12 for 2.
The new batsman is the New Zealand captain, Stephen Fleming, and he's got a big job to do, much depending on him. might have saved him, the no ball. There was a few behind the stumps there that really would have gone up if that hadn't have been a no ball.
Well, the question here is, has it pitched in line with the stumps? Yes, it does. That looks pretty straight. The question of height, well, I think looks all right too. Saved by the no ball.
Sherab to Fleming. Lovely shot. Through mid-wicket. That might well be 4. It's a big chase. They might well run 4. Shahid Afridi's after it. They go for 3. They think about 4. Hesitation. Well, perhaps they should have got 4, but they got 3.
Bit of encouragement. Oh, that was nearly a 3rd wicket for Pakistan. A 3rd slip would have snaffled that. But as it was 4 to the New Zealand score. Well, that's a good riposte from Craig McMillan.
Not much of a back lift, but very powerful hitter of the ball. Uses a very heavy bat.
Complete mishit, and off goes Craig McMillan, wondering what on earth that ball was. Just chipping a really simple catch to mid-on, totally baffled by yet another of Wasim Akram's boxer tricks.
Well, here I don't know what he's trying to do. It was a sort of nothing shot. Maybe because the ball came back into him. He was looking to cut it, the ball came back to him, and all he did was sort of just play a nothing shot. I think he'd be very disappointed with that.
Roger Twos comes in with New Zealand 35 for 3. Akram to Twos. That's close. Did it swing enough though to hit? Katie Francis says no.
Here's Wasim, a loud LBW shout. Might have been missing leg stump. The angle was such. It didn't really come back enough to get that LBW.
Hazard bowling to Stephen Fleming. It's a good shot from Stephen Fleming, who's really looked the only batsman of the New Zealanders to be able to handle this Pakistan attack. And it's his 2nd boundary. Mahmood to Twos. And that single brings up the 50 for New Zealand. That's a good shot from Roger Twos. Consummate ease, he's put that away for 4. Beautifully done.
Powerful hitter off the ball, Roger Twos. We saw him playing similar shots against Australia. Very powerfully struck, straight with the spin. Great shot.
Katie Francis has elected to award Roger Twos a 6 for that shot.
That's a good shot. Beat the man at mid-wicket and was wide of mid-on as well. Sherbackter's after it. And they come back for 3. They think of 4 there. The thread was wild.
Nicely placed by Fleming there. Shoaib Akhtar chasing it. The batsman run for a comfortable 3. Twos looking to hit Siklan.
Catch it! There he goes, and he's out. Straight to mid-wicket.
Toos had to go after Siklan. He realizes the scoring rate is mounting. Goes for a sweep shot from outside the off stump. And Siklan again gets a breakthrough. Just watch it. He's swept him from outside the off stump straight to Inzimam at short square leg. And that's Siklan giving Pakistan the breakthrough.
That innings against Australia was vital. 60 helped them win that game. Azza to Cairns.
That's close, and it's out. Rudy Kurtzen raises the finger, and Chris Cairns is gone, and that's big trouble for New Zealand now. 71 for 5, and Chris Cairns, a man who could have won this game for New Zealand, has gone.
It's quite wide on the crease is the only thing. He's got to straighten it from there just for metre angles, but it's just continued on. It's convinced that umpire anyway, and he's the one, of course, who's important about this decision. And Cairns, unfortunately for New Zealand, didn't get underway. Key man. New Zealand 71 for 5.
The new batsman is Adam Perore, the wicketkeeper. He's a useful player, but New Zealand need a little bit more than that.
As well, and he's gone. First ball. Rudy Kurtzen raises the finger again, and it's 71 for 6, and this New Zealand innings is in tatters.
Well, Perore here, it's always difficult first ball, but I've got a feeling that he's done by pace off the pitch, and it's hit him on the back foot. And there's not too much to go there, I think, really. That's hit him in line. And before Christopher Cairns can get his pads off, Perore's beside him again, 71 for 6.
And it's come back a long way. Possibility of an inside edge, certainly the batsman thought so. Azza Mahmood didn't. Chris Harris, he's the new batsman. Probably sitting with his pads off a few moments ago. So Hassan Nawaz on a hat-trick into Chris Harris. Comfortably in behind it. So Shahid Afridi, the new bowler. Leg break bowler, sack lane's off. Starts with a no ball and Fleming gets it through the infield. It's a chase for Shoaib Akhtar, and he's timed that really well. That's 4. In fact, it's 5.
Well, overstepping, as you can see, quite badly there, and the cold hands dragging it down.
Fleming gets that one away nicely. It's going out to the deep mid-wicket boundary. It will be cut off though. They think about 3 and they come back for it.
The key thing here in the next ones is the run rates. West Indies 0.88, New Zealand 0.42, and that's why they've got to keep batting for 50 overs here. Australia 0.77, they're below them because New Zealand beat Australia. So things are cooking.
Well, that's straight through Syed Anwar. So it's the one area of Pakistani's cricket, apart from their running between the wickets, that they're not always terribly competent at. Well, that's straight through. Extra cover, didn't really want to know about that particularly. It's a very long chase down to the deep cover boundary for Azhar. And he didn't manage to have any impact on the ball. Little push to square leg gives Stephen Fleming a half-century off 76 balls. Really the only New Zealand batsman to show any fluency or ability to deal with this fierce Pakistan attack. And that was ferociously struck by Harris. The creaking fielder Inzimam just manages to haul it in. Well, that's desperation. And this is driven by Fleming to Mushtaq there on the edge of the circle. Picks up and throws, and Fleming desperate.
Razak into Harris. Well, New Zealand batting at the moment to improve their net run rate, it would seem, and that will help it. 4-leg byes. The game has been drifting, and Shoaib Akhtar is now back into the attack. Coming back for 2. Shoaib to Fleming. That's a lovely shot. Timed that really well. And that'll improve the net run rate.
Shoaib Akhtar over pitching. And very nicely stroked by Fleming, straight for 4.
And that's out. Straight to mid-wicket.
Azhar gets his 3rd wicket. And Fleming really played a very good knock, but trying to force the pace, very unlucky to find the only fielder in the infield, and that was Wasim Akram. Yeah, it went straight to Wasim.
Well, Stephen Fleming did his best, but not good enough today for New Zealand. Looking just to improve their net run rate, 154 for 7. Dion Nash, the new batsman.
There's Azhar. Flicked very firmly by Fleming, but unfortunately for him, straight to Wasim Akram. Delighted Azhar, his 3rd wicket in the match.
Saqlain Mushtaq back in the attack. Ooh, very nearly a stumping.
Well, that was very interesting. That could easily have been all over for Harris. Here we see him trying to sweep. He slips. He thinks the ball has gone through. Goes for a run. No, he was in.
It's quite odd in a way, Jerry, watching a game where you know one side definitely can't win, and yet they're still out there. They're just pushing the ball around, sort of trying to keep up with the mathematical equation. Well, that's exactly what we're seeing, and it's been a bit strange for Chris Harris there. I thought that last shot of his just sort of summed things up. I mean,
At least some of the supporters, they're starting to celebrate already, of course. Although I noticed they had their back to the game. Well, Razak bowling around the wicket was a little bit interested, I think, in the leg stump of Dion Nash. And this was just a wee bit lazy of Mohan. Didn't get the feet going. And 4 wides. .200 comes up for New Zealand in the 49th over, so no realistic hope obviously of winning this game, but important for them mathematically to try and stay out there till the end of the innings, although Chris Harris in fact has chipped a catch down to deep square leg, so his vigil ends. He didn't score a boundary in his 42, but he did create a valuable opportunity for New Zealand to perhaps qualify for the second stage. Well deceived, I think, by length, and also a top spinner from Saqlain, so it bounces a little bit more, gets the top edge, can't control the sweep. And Razak positioned there at backward square, and Chris Harris departs. New Zealand 200 for 8. Gavin Larson comes out just for the last over. The leg bye concludes. It's a race to steal the stumps. The stewards get there first before the Pakistan supporters, and New Zealand have lost by 62 runs.
Well, a desperate start again. Their 4 opening partnerships have been worth 2, 2, 5 and 5. Astles scored just 11 in 4 knocks. A not inconsiderable pick-up in the middle, but as you saw, it petered away at the end. And 38 extras. Will that be the Pakistan team's Achilles heel when the knockout stage is reached? They're 2 mean men in the attack, as forceful as ever. Shoaib Akhtar more disciplined than of late, just a single wide and 4 no balls. But with Saqlain and Azhar, they really do have a potent strike force. So 62 runs was the margin at the end. Inzimam, your friend and mine, was man of the match, and Pakistan looking at best like potential finalists.
Now, you started this tournament saying that you were a little bit disappointed that you hadn't had much cricket in English conditions, yet you're playing very, very good cricket at the moment. You look as though you're firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I think the first game was very important, Paul, because we won that game with very little margin, and that game has given us confidence that we can bat on good tracks, on seaming tracks. And the boys have showed they're hungry for success, and I hope we should be consistent in the future games as well.
Yeah, well, they're going to be future games. You're through now to the Super 6 stage, won all your 4 games that you've played. You must be absolutely delighted with the way the boys are playing.
Yeah, I must give credit goes to the whole Pakistan team itself, the way they showed their application towards their cause to do well in the World Cup. And of course, today I must say Inzimam and Ijaz played brilliantly once again. Inzimam, they both showed that they're world-class players.
After the euphoria of the win over the Australians, your form's just slumped a little bit. You must be disappointed.
Yeah, we outplayed today. I think Pakistan are playing very well, and they got a good total, and their bowling attack is very good. We tried to, we would have liked to restrict them to 220, 230. 270 was always going to be tough, and they're playing very well.
Yeah, you've got 1 game left. You've got to go out all guns blazing.
Yeah, it could be an interesting game, depending on the targets we get given and the figures we need to get.
Well, the table only serves to illustrate just how vital Sunday's match between Australia and the West Indies is. For Pakistan, a nap hand of victories looks certain. They face Bangladesh in their final group match. New Zealand must join them in the Super 6, assuming, of course, they beat Scotland, but we never know.